You know when you're scrolling through Google and some search results they just pop. Like they've got star ratings or pictures or maybe even cooking times right there on the results page. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret code that makes all of that happen. It's a method that can literally make your website jump off the page, and we're going to break it down step by step.
Think about it. For the longest time, a Google search result was a pretty standard affair, right? You get a blue title link, a little green URL, and a quick black description. I mean, it works, sure, but everything kind of blends together. It's just this sea of uniform text. But what if you could make your website the one that stands out in that sea?
Okay, look at this. On the left, you've got your standard plain vanilla search result. We've all seen a million of those. But on the right, that's a whole different ball game. Your eyes are immediately drawn to that picture, right? You see the 5-star rating from over 500 people, and you know it only takes 45 minutes to make. It's not just a link anymore. It's practically a mini preview that's screaming, "Click me, I'm exactly what you're looking for."
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? The one on the right is way more appealing. It gives you useful info up front, and it just feels more trustworthy. Our eyes are just naturally drawn to it. And that, right there, is the power of making your search result more than just a boring blue link.
So, what do we actually call these enhanced, super eye-catching results? Well, the official term for them is Rich Snippets. And trust me, they are an absolute game changer for getting noticed on a crowded search page. So how does Google create these? It's not magic. Nope. Rich snippets are created from very specific, structured information that you, the website owner, provide directly on your web page. It's like giving your users a little sneak peek that answers their most important questions, like, is this any good, or how much does it cost, before they even click. And get this, it's not just for recipes. Rich snippets can show up for all kinds of stuff. If you're running an e-commerce site, it can show the price and whether something's in stock. For an event, it'll list the date and location. You can even have FAQ drop-downs that answer questions right there in the search results. It's incredibly versatile.
Okay, so this all looks great, but how do we actually tell Google to make these awesome rich snippets for our pages? Well, the secret is a special language that all search engines understand. It's called Schema Markup. Let's dive into what that is and how it works.
So schema markup, also called structured data, is basically a universal vocabulary that was created by the big players. We're talking Google, Bing, Yahoo, all of them. When you add this special code to your site, you're not just telling the search engine what your content says, you're telling it what your content is. You're adding that really critical layer of context.
Here's the easiest way to think about it. Imagine a little search engine robot, a crawler, visits your website. Without schema, it just sees a jumble of words and numbers. But with schema, it's like you've put these neat little labels on everything, saying, hey, this is the name of the recipe, and this number over here, that's the star rating. You're basically making the robot's job a whole lot easier. Let's just quickly walk through this labeling process. Your web page might just have the text chocolate cake 45 mins 4.9 stars. When you add schema, you're wrapping that text in code that translates it for Google. You're saying, hey Google, the name is chocolate cake, the cook time is 45 mins, and the rating value is 4.9. Google's crawler sees those labels, understands them perfectly, and can then generate that awesome rich snippet we saw.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Code? HTML? Oh boy, that sounds really complicated. But here's the good news. Setting this all up is way easier than you think.
And I'm serious here. You absolutely do not need to be a coding wizard to pull this off. These days, there are some incredible tools that do all the heavy lifting for you. Anyone can get this done. Let's check out the 2 easiest ways to get started.
You've basically got 2 main paths. If your site is on a platform like WordPress, it's as simple as installing a plugin. Some popular SEO tools like Yoast have this built in, or you can get a dedicated one. For pretty much any other website, you can use a free online tool called a schema generator. These tools create the code for you, usually in that JSON LD format that Google loves.
And using one of these generators is a super simple 3-step process. First, you just pick what kind of content you have, a recipe, a product, an FAQ, whatever. Second, you literally just highlight the words on your page and tag them. It's all point and click. Finally, the tool spits out a chunk of code. You copy it, paste it into your page's HTML, and then, and this is important, you use Google's own testing tool to make sure it all works.
So let's bring this all home. We've talked about the what and the how, but now for the most important part, the why. Why should you actually take the time to do all this? What's the real-world impact?
Well, the benefits are huge. First, you stand out from all your competitors. That visual appeal leads directly to a higher click-through rate. Some studies have shown an increase of up to 30%.
That's a massive amount of extra traffic. You're also giving Google the exact context it craves to understand your content. And finally, showing things like reviews right up front builds instant trust with your audience.
So the question to ask yourself is this: is your website speaking the right language to Google? Because when you implement Schema, you're not just tweaking a web page, you're starting a much clearer, way more effective conversation with the biggest search engine on the planet. And that is a conversation that leads to more visibility, more clicks, and ultimately more success for you. Thanks for tuning in.